Hello and welcome to all members from the Ray White Group attending this Unlocking the Vault Express webinar. My name is Brian Chesson, and in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll be taking you through the inquiry holding area, contact duplicate check, and property duplicate check inside the new Vault platform. So what you can see here, if you are unfamiliar with the product, this is a dashboard. It does differ slightly to my desktop, but essentially what you can see on the main screen is just a number of widgets to allow you to obviously click through to things slightly easier. Now, what we're going to jump into first is the inquiry holding area. So this will differ to what you would be used to inside my desktop. So essentially the idea of the holding area is that all of the inquiries from raywhite.com, realestate.com, Domain, and any other portals that you may use, whether it's in your respective marketplace, they will get caught in the holding area. So essentially the idea of that is for you to actually minimize the amount of duplicates entering your VaultRE account. And essentially you're merging them as you are feeding the contact into the platform. So what we might touch on initially is basically how to set that up. So a lot of people inside your business probably won't have access to this. This will be done primarily by a key administrator or principal. So what we'll see here is settings on the left, set up automation, office automation. Basically what we're looking for is this section up the top here, how it has the holding area. So if you were to enable the top one, basically what that does is just turns the holding area off. And then you will be able to select how you want to categorize that person coming in. The second one there, which we do have enabled, is basically a canned response being allowed to occur even when they are in the holding area. So even though we do have that holding area, you can obviously, there is ways around it. So that person is actually communicated to initially before they are fed into the database and you communicating to them via email or phone after the fact. Another thing to note as well, so the process of you getting an inquiry to your Gmail account has not changed. It's just the way that we filter that into the database has changed slightly. So it will take some time to get used to, but we believe it's an excellent tool. It can be turned on for both sales and rentals. So be mindful of that and manage the process accordingly inside your business. So let's just jump back to the dashboard. Okay, so there's two ways for you to actually find the inquiry holding area. So there is this widget up the top here, and you will notice obviously pending inquiries, and then it will show you the last 5 and give you a timestamp of when they've entered. The other way is via the contacts on the left menu bar. We want to click inquiry holding area. Okay, so when we're on this screen, basically what it will do on the left-hand side will be the time and date that it was received. It's got the name, property address they've inquired on, the agent, who is the lead agent on that particular property, the source, so how they entered the database, whether it was a QR check-in code, REA, domain, raywhite.com, that's where it will actually be outlined for you. On the right-hand side, you'll see comments. So basically any comments they have made or any information that they are looking for with their inquiry on that particular property. Another thing to note as well, there will be people inside your business that will have access to both rentals and sales. So what you can do is you can click on expand in the top right-hand corner for the filter criteria, and then you can basically drill down whether it's only for the sales department or you're only looking for the rental side of the business. But for the purpose of this, what we're going to do is we're going to leave it on the sales, and we'll just pick up any of these. So let's just pick up this one. Okay, so at the top here, you've obviously got who the particular email inquiry is from, their email address, mobile number or phone number, the property address underneath that, and then any notes which they have just underneath that. So basically, when can I view the property? What is the price range? All of the generic stuff that you guys would normally receive. As we're working down, you will see a duplicate check has been done, and there is a duplicate inside your particular Vault account. So essentially what we're wanting to do here is if there is a duplicate, we are wanting to merge that. So how that is actually being picked up is via the email address. Obviously, on the particular contact that's fed through just now, the mobile number is obviously incorrect. So what we're wanting to do is just select that particular contact. With the add requirement button, what that actually does is assigns a buy rent requirement against this particular contact card. So, excuse me. So entirely up to you if you want to keep that on. What I would suggest initially when you do come across a vault is leave it on for the first little bit until you can actually gauge how those buy rent requirements are actually filtering through against contact cards, and then you can decipher whether you want to keep that on or not. If we are happy with this, what we will do now is just append inquiry. Great. So now what it's actually saying here is that the inquiry has been processed. So what you can actually do here, there's two options. You can even click to continue and then keep working through the actual holding area, or you can click to go to Chica Ortiz's account. But for the sake of this, we just want to click on continue. Okay, and now you can see that that one's actually dropped off on our inquiry holding area. So that's the inquiry holding area. What another side note for you, just while we're on this, is the normal process inside My Desktop, which does differ from Vault. If you have not processed all of these inquiries in the inquiry holding area, you will then go to the owner feedback report and you will notice there will be no data in there from email inquiries, even though it's showing a number of those have come through to your Gmail account. So always very important to come back to the inquiry holding area, make sure you have released those into the database, as well as merged any duplicates along the way, and then they will feed into your owner feedback report that you can actually prepare for the owner and that type of thing, and start the sales process. Now, the next one is contact duplicate check. So the holding area is one way. And obviously another way is when you are inserting data via the add contact function. If I go to add a contact, you'll see down the bottom here in orange that it has 5 duplicates. So essentially that is another way for you guys to manage it as you are going. As well, when you are using the Vault app and you start to populate information via the add contact or by checking someone in at an open home, it will have the same functionality in terms of how you do the duplicate check along the way when you are inserting that data. So very important to be mindful of that. Don't just feed the data in there. Do the duplicate check as you're actually going. So what we'll do now is we'll jump back to the dashboard and click on contacts on the left. And then we want to click on duplicate check. Okay. Now, when you are doing this process, obviously it will show you this screen here. So don't think that you actually don't have any duplicates, and because what it's actually doing is it's just actually calculating those. And now we need to refresh the page. And there we go. Okay, so a pretty cool function inside Vault as well, which does differ to My Desktop, is let's say we're wanting to merge all these duplicates in the top here. We can actually do that. Whereas in My Desktop, you were only doing 2 at a time, and it's quite tedious, and it did take quite a long time to actually do that. So let's just click on Tweety Bird here, click resolve on the right. Okay, so what you can see here is obviously, yes, the name has come across correctly, but given the nature of our database as opposed to yours, you will normally see obviously the email will be similar in both contact cards, or at least the mobile number and that type of thing. So what we can do with these ones, given obviously the mobile number and the email address are different, we would just ignore both of those. Okay, then click clean up now. Let's try and find another one. So Bugs Bunny. Okay, so what we can do with this one, you will see obviously the residency there, property relationships on the right hand side. So essentially what's actually happened is there's no residency on the top one, But on the top one, there is obviously property relationship. So property is attached to that particular contact card. So what we'll do here is we'll run through the process of merging this particular contact. So where this process differs between my desktop and Vault is it actually allows you to select here. So basically what you'll see is the ID number of the particular contact card, and then you'll be able to select which ID or first name you would actually like. So as we're just working down here, Bugs and Mary's cool, Mr. B Bunny and Mary Bunny. But as we're working down, obviously the residency, yes, we do want that in there. The postal address is just pick that up from the main contact card here. So essentially what would have happened is on the contact card, you put in the residency address and they sort of copied that to the postal address. Okay. So on this marketing contact number one, this will be case by case inside your business. More often than not, you will be, I suppose, assigning that to the person which does have the stronger relationship with that particular contact. So what I would suggest looking at up here, like yes, Bella's actually got the contact details, but it looks as though Alina has actually sourced a little bit further information from this particular contact. So if you were ever unsure as well, obviously speak to your principal. But what you can do as well is obviously look at the notes on the particular contact card, see when they were last communicated with, and then you can start to decipher who you want to assign it to from there. What we'll do here, we'll assign this one to Alina as an example, and then we want to merge now. Okay, so that merge and cleanup has been performed for that particular those particular contacts. So as you can see in here, it is quite simple in terms of the merging of contacts. Exactly the same in my desktop as deciphering who you want to assign it to and that type of thing. If you are ever unsure, if you are a key administrator, you're ever unsure in this process, I would completely recommend that you do speak to your business owner before assigning it to the incorrect person. What you can see in the middle tab here as well is recently merged contacts, which is a great function. You wouldn't have seen this inside my desktop. So basically what you can do is you can go through the process of merging a lot of your duplicates. And then after the fact, you can come into recently merged. You can obviously open that. It'll open in another window. And this is where, if for whatever reason you're actually having to change the marketing contacts and save an update, then you can obviously do that in this screen. Grab back screen. Okay, the next tab here is a view ignore list. So essentially what it will do, it'll give you a list of contacts which you have ignored the process of actually merging them. If you do, for whatever reason, need to unignore, basically you can do that on the right hand side here. Unignore, it'll feed back into the duplicate check for you. Okay, so that's the contact duplicate check. Now, the last piece which we are going to touch on here is, again, a great function inside Vault. So essentially what it allows you to do is merge properties. So you would have never had this available to you inside my desktop, which is a pretty cool tool. So what may have happened over time is you may have, let's say you have a closed database and then you've got, say, 4 or 5 particular property cards for each address inside your core market. So what you can actually do from that, much the same as the contact duplicate check, is you can start to decipher how often that particular person is getting contacted to or from or with, and then you can actually reassign that way. So let's jump into that. So properties on the left, property duplicate check. Okay, so what you can see on the left-hand side, obviously it has the property, it's got the property ID, inserted and modified dates. And then on the right-hand side, it has the status. So what you can see in here is obviously, there's obviously no listings or anything like that. So, or unconditional. So the reason for that is what you can obviously see down the bottom there. It's got properties can only be merged if they are of the same classification, residential or commercial, and if the current property status is either appraisal or prospect, not currently listed. Okay, so If we actually did in fact have 7 Unity Street, Clifton Beach inside Vault as a listing, once that's actually been converted all the way from a listing back to a not currently listed because it's actually settled, then it would populate in here as the 4th particular duplicate property of that address. Okay, so what we could do, if that was the case, what we could actually do is merge all of these ones that are in here now, so these 3, and then once 7 Unity Street, Clifton Beach has settled, we can finalize the process of merging that last duplicate once that process has run its course. So much the same as the contact duplicate check. If we are wanting to obviously resolve it, all we need to do is click resolve on the right hand side. And then what it will actually do here is just give us some details on obviously the property, the sale, the address, the status, marketing contact. So again, this is first point of contact on that particular listing. And then the right hand side, what you'll basically see here is who has access to that particular property. So if we were happy with this, what we would be doing is obviously you can leave this as everyone to have access to. And then what we are finally doing is clicking merge now. Okay. So quite a simple process, much like the contact duplicate check. And then again, it does have the same tabs up the top here. So recently merged, we can click through to that. It will have 7 Unity Street. And then the view ignore list. Obviously there's none in there, but if you have ignored the process of actually merging those particular listings, this is where you would find those. Excuse me. Now to finish, what I'd like to show you is how to access more training and support resources for VaultRE. So what we'll do is just jump into the G5 website, click on whiteboard, and the tile we're looking for is get prepared for One System 2.0. Okay, so on this screen, basically what you will see is we have divided the content into role inside your business. So obviously key administrators, sales agents, leasing. So the leasing piece, unless your office is actually utilizing Vault as your CRM provider for the leasing side of your business, essentially the main piece you'll be doing, which will be much of the same as my desktop, is just uploading properties and marking them as leased and that type of thing. For administrators, basically what that will take you through is admin basics, sales property cycle, any financials, so end of month, receipting, deposits, all of that type of stuff. For sales agents, it'll take you through obviously a lot of things. So owner feedback reports, how to find particular people inside the database. So if you're looking for contacts in a particular category, this will take you through that particular process and how to do that. The last piece in the bottom right hand corner is the Vault mobile app. So what I would highly recommend is all agents, key admin staff obviously be across it as well, but all agents need to actually get up to speed with how to use that particular platform or that particular app. It will take you through the whole cycle of adding in a contact, adding in a property or prospective owner, to adding in people at open homes. You can also update listings at open for listing details, all of that type of thing. So that completes our Unlocking the Vault Express webinar about the Enquiry holding area, contact and property duplicate checks. Thank you for joining me today. And if you have any questions, please submit them to your local digital BDE.